commentators, but I can test the mic. Alright, I'll do it now. 1 2 1 2 testing 1 2 1 2. Yep. 1 2 1 2 testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Yep. Yep. Testing 1 2 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 1 2. What's that? Yeah, this is through input 1 commentary mic. Sure. Yep, no worries. One two one two one two. One two testing 1 2. Hello, can you hear me, Emma? 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 3 4. Testing testing. Commentator mic testing 1 2 3 4.
Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Four, five. You're good to be here. Good afternoon. Bark United Football. And they're ninth on the ladder with 2 wins, 3 losses. They take on the 5th place Avondale, one of the teams that came up last year, who are very good at scoring goals, but missing 3 in Miyako, and also Coleman Knight, who is commentating the final of the Asian Cup between the Matildas and Japan tonight. You happy with that, Jordan? Their home ground. And on the bench, Boges, number 6, Ucel 7, Galuccio in for her first game this year, a big part of the team that dominated the VPL last year, number 12, Andriopoulos 77, and Zarkos wearing 99 is the reserve goalkeeper. 3 key players out go, Herta Carr for training. She, of course, is a former Australian player, starting to be a doctor, so very, very good player out of this side. Miyata has gone back to Japan for family reasons, will return though, and of course, Alice Kelman Knight has broadcasting duties with the Asian Cup final on tonight between Australia and Japan. As I said, Matthew Fazio is a well-known analyst, been involved with a number of clubs, including the Green Gully men's team this year. He's joined me in commentary for the Senol NPL coverage round 6. Matt, great to have you with us. What are you expecting?
Well, I'm expecting a very, very tough contest between these two teams. Only one win separates each of these on the board, as you said before. Essendon winning only 2 of their last 5 and Avondale winning their last 3 of their last 5. Both teams boasting a lot of talent, a lot of footballing ability. It's just going to be a matter of who can capitalise on the mistakes and who can inevitably get more goals than the other team.
Through ball by Sydney Allen. There's the aforementioned Wilkinson. Gets it back now. Taken Ricardo, a young Matilda in her early days of last team against Kilo Park a couple of weeks ago. Ball's out over the sideline, taken by the Royals, who finding hard. But turned over. Once more, good defence by the Royals to try and keep it inside their attacking half, but it's off them last. Opening minute of the contest. We're calling Into the Sun out here at I'm with the ball. Accardo by the dangerous McGrory. A through ball now. Cleared at the back. Got goals. So, and we're into the first couple of minutes. So back into play. Trying to clear, and again it's put over the sideline once more by the other Royals. They had a poor start in their first 7. And they dropped 5 in a row between rounds 3 and 7. Back into play. A volley ball away from the defence. But at close quarters, won by the Royals again. Matt, the Avondale team, Essendon doing pretty well, squeezing up nicely.
Yes, exactly. We can see that that Essendon are posing a 4-2-3-1 defensive formation, and which is making life very hard for Avondale's attackers to get into their attacking third. Playing with a high defensive line, they're ensuring to keep the ball to ensure that it doesn't come. As attack, so like now we should see what happens.
Getting a touch. Sloane Young is there, but turned over at the back. Good play by the Royals. Bresciano did well to get a touch, get inside the attacking half, but cleared at the back again. Claridge to Young. Back to Claridge again. She has to go backwards. Taken by Accardo. She switches to the skipper, Janet Saris. Down the left-hand side, Barrerio, Camp right on halfway, has an opponent right with her. Trying to force it over the sideline, but it's going to be an Avondale ball through Barrerio. Barrerio down that left-hand side. In the road, Parkinson, who when I last called rules, I gave her BAG for her, or most valuable player for her magnificent game in defence. She's there for the Royals again as Wilkinson runs onto it inside the attacking half, only momentarily on the outer side of Iron Barkfields, where we're calling from today. It's forced forward again by the Royals, but hooked away and over the sideline by Cardo. So the defence having to get back and support the goalkeeper Bennett, although she hasn't had to worry too much.
The attacking, and so far Avondale are doing well to defend it. However, no attacking intent really seen from Avondale. Maybe that'll change in the coming minutes.
Well, as I said, missing three of their key players. We know Goat can score. She scored 1 goal this year, but she's an attacking midfielder. Miata's the same from Heidelberg. And, of course, so we know how good a player Kelman Knight is, over 100 appearances for Australia. And played for Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City and the Brisbane Roar. The header nodded down by Seawards for the Royals. Barrerio, Campton, that left-hand side again. Getting a few touches for the Avondale side, the Avengers, and the Royals had last touch. So it's over the sideline. But again, all play on that outer side of the venue. Here at Tarneet. Back into play. Barrerio, a high one. Arriving late, good defence by Bresciano, but Allen at the bootlaces wins it. Just inside the defensive half for the Avondale team. Finds her teammate Accardo, has to go back now to Genesaris. Goes across. They've got to defend and defend nicely again. Through Accardo, but over the sideline. Again, good play by the Royals to come across their path and force the error. Bresciano. They're all red, the Royals, but one at the back. Good play by Smith, who's starting today for the Avondale side, Alyssa Smith. She couldn't control it properly. Barrerio down the left-hand side, a long ball. Young gets out the back. She's onside. She's got the goalkeeper to contend with, but she couldn't get it past her, and it was well stopped at the back there by Board. First time they get an opportunity. She stayed onside Young. She's very clever, and she got goal side. Bresciano made an error, but she just couldn't get enough on the shot, and it was stopped by Board. So they have a first shot on target, Avondale, against the Trent. It's still 0-0.
Yeah, that was a very surprising attack. I think that one must have taken Essendon's defence by surprise, but we can see Essendon are swiftly changing formation from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-1-4-1, pushing that extra defensive midfielder into the attacking defensive line to sort of try and force Avondale to keep Avondale in their back half. But still 0-0 here.
And McGroarty had a long shot too. It was along the turf too. Here's Wilkinson. She gets goal side with 3 opponents around her. Nice pass to Young on the rebound. That was a good save too by Bennett as it was along the turf, the shot that came in from McGroarty. Wilkinson couldn't quite control it. Kendra Smith is there. The two New Zealanders against each other. One though by Avondale again, but Claridge turns it over in the middle of the pitch. McGroarty down the right-hand side. Cleared at the back by Barrerio for Avondale and taken by Accardo. Allen, Barrerio down the left-hand side, but they get their numbers back. Parkinson trying to get back and ensure it goes over the sideline and that the Royals can win possession, and they do, through Board. So that was a nice stop to the left-hand side there by Bennett from the McGroarty shot outside the 18-yard area. But again, it was an aerial, not enough power in the shot as it rolled along the carpet on the synthetic turf here at the Western United Stadium. Down to the right-hand side. Looking to clear out of defence. Parkinson. But they've got it inside their attacking half down. They hassle hard. And hustle hard too, the Avondale team. But won comfortably by the Royals. Pass from Parkinson. comes through, but they've got the numbers at the back. Janet Saris is there. She will go for a pass at close quarters to Accardo, still well inside the defensive half. Back now to Janet Saris, goes across the face. Claridge will accept now. Starting today and back to the goalkeeper, Bennett. Bennett now, passing cleverly and accurately. Under some pressure, but controlling to her own advantage. Janet Saris, two opponents around her. Gets it inside the attacking half. Won by Young. She shoved an opponent out. Again, slightly in the defensive half for Avondale. Allen receives a nice ball. Goes wide looking for Young, who was camped. And she allowed Bresciano there to chip in and win it. She lost it once by Smith and then got it back after Alyssa Smith defended hard. Now a through ball from Accardo, but cleaned up at the back by the goalkeeper Board for the Royals. 0-0 at the moment. Both teams have had one shot on goal, on target. And the two goalkeepers, Bennett and Board, saving them. Trying to clear it, Urich, who started today for the Royals, but Barrerio gets back and makes it tough for Grover to finish for the Royals, but this time, well done by Seaward. She intercepted inside the 18-yard area, but a great stop. Standing on the right-hand side, wonderful reflexes by Bennett as she kicked that pretty hard, but Bennett was there to knock it away. And beautiful play by Seawards then, Matt, to intercept and set up something. So they've had two shots on goal, the Royals, and Avondale have had one. It's still 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting really exciting now. Both teams showing their attacking prowess. Obviously, Bennett was challenged a little bit there, but she did well. She positioned herself well and stopped an inevitable goal from going 1-0 down. But free kick to Essendon. Let's see what they make of this set piece.
Parkinson down the right-hand side. Long ball. The defenders get back. Getting involved, though, was McGroarty. That was a good effort. I thought that there were two defenders around her that were going to be able to stop that, but McGroarty chipped in and the header wasn't too far away. It was a good effort. And they've had three shots now, Essendon. They're certainly pushing hard early, putting pressure on that very organised Avondale defence. Some good players down there in Janet Saris, Barrerio and Accardo. Long ball by Bennett to halfway, still inside the attacking half for the Royals. And forced away and over the sideline by Langley, who scored 8 times last year for the Royals. So Barrerio, the Senol Women's NPL competition, round 6, twilight fixture. Close quarters, not able to control it. Avondale again, Essendon down that right-hand side. The Royals trying to keep it alive now is Grover, who scored once. She sets it up by squaring it to the 18-yard area, but cleared at the back again by the reliable defender Accardo to Bennett. Bennett will push it out wide now. Claridge has opponents around her, had to get rid of it quickly, but Kendra Smith's there at halfway to cut it off for the Royals. Keep it inside their attacking half. Deft little ball to Seawards. Smith receives again. Back now to Urich. Urich, a good ball, brilliantly trapped by McGroarty, and she wedges it forward. But good defence again as Peel tried to get goal side, but well played again to ensure that she couldn't get goal side by Accardo. But it's going to be the first corner kick of the day, Matt. Yes,
the first corner of the game. Ultimately, we're going to see how Essendon set up, but it looks like they're going. It looks like they're committing 7 players into the box. So Avondale look like they're going player for player in the box and having one back zone player. We'll see how that turns out, whether the defence and Bennett can keep him out and keep it 0-0.
A lot of work to do with Essendon monopolising possession and monopolising territory. Kuzumi, good ball, just floats away a bit outside the 18-yard area, trying to get a little hack to it and forcing another corner kick. Langley, and once again that defence was very deep, virtually guarding both posts with Bennett in the middle there, and they put it over the byline. So another corner kick from one side of the venue here at Ironbark Fields to another. And it's going to be Kazumi, who, as I say, starred in the VPL when they dominated in 2023 under their previous coach Vince, and then did a knee and came back and played some football in the VPL at Bayside Argonauts last year. But she's important to this side, Kazumi. A deep ball, curving ball, but Bennett's there, dropped it. After I thought she had control of it, but then she comes back onto it and latches onto it as it was leaving the 10-yard area. And that was a nice curving ball which went towards the right goalpost. Turned over again, Grover, but she couldn't quite get a decent possession of Wilkinson's there. But she also isn't able to find a teammate. Taken by Kazumi again. Good ballooning ball. Couldn't be trapped by Grover inside the 18-yard area. McGroarty, great stop by Bennett. She was outside the 18-yard area and Bennett was there to knock it away, and the defence clears it again. Isn't Bennett working overtime, triple time, quadruple time at the moment? McGroarty a long range from the right-hand side there, Matt. Almost scored the first goal, but Brooke Bennett ensuring that it's still 0-0 at the moment with some heroics for Avondale.
Yeah, Bennett pulling out all the stops at the moment for Avondale. Should be asking her defence how Essendon are getting in and behind them and getting those opportunities. Essendon are pushing more players forward, obviously to try and create that overload and to get those interceptions and to try and get that first goal of the game. But still no attacking threat from Avondale yet. Still 0-0 here.
Maybe they're trying to get a goal on the counter-attack, and could they park the bus? They are an attacking side, as we know. They like to score. They've scored 13. They've only conceded 5. They've had 2 clean sheets so far. Kendra Smith shares with the goalkeeper board. And then Urich, the skipper, starting today. Gets a couple of cracks at it. But intercepted by Barrerio just inside the attacking half of the Avengers. Her teammate went down, could have nearly got a free kick. Through ball again. McGroarty's there. She couldn't quite control it. And Claridge is there as McGroarty goes after her and goes back to Bennett. Bennett goes wide again. Picks out Janet Saris. Janet Saris, the skipper. Also the community engagement manager at the Avondale Avengers Football Club. Down that left-hand side, long through ball by Barrerio. And there's no one on the end of it. And it's cleaned up at the back by Board. To Seawards. To Urich now for the Royals. Wilkinson puts pressure on her. Goes into the middle of the pitch. Hacking it on a couple of times. Good attempt by Seawards. Gets another opportunity. Through ball again, but no one's on the end of it. McGroarty involved as well. And eventually Claridge is there. Combining with Janet Saris. But great pressure provided by Langley. Forced her to go back and you turn it towards Bennett. Bennett goes wide once more. Still 0-0. Janet Saris has a teammate Barrerio camped just near the coach's boxes. Trapped it cleverly to Wilkinson. Wilkinson goes back inside now to Accardo, who's pushed up to the defensive half. Claridge. Alyssa Smith. Combined with Kazumi pushing and shoving in the bump. Kazumi was too clever for her. Won it back beautifully. Magnificent body work. Seaward's involved. McGroarty as well. And then to Kendra Smith, who lopes away through the middle of the pitch for the Royals. Little pass now in the direction of Peel. Peel goes back to Urich, who's been solid so far. And Urich goes for a long searching ball down the right-hand side. And it eventually is off Avondale. And they'll get a throw as they make another move forward. Still 0-0 between the Royals and Avondale having to do a lot of work as McGroarty kicks into bodies. Good defence again. Getting goal side, the Avondale defence once more as they headed away. But winning the ball at ground level, the Royals a lot, although Bresciano was flat-footed there by Allen, who chipped in. And there's a Avondale player down who stopped that last move forward. And looks to be in a little bit of trouble, Matt. But, Royals very attacking at the moment, and they probably should be at least 1 goal up.
Yeah, they should, shouldn't they? Ultimately, that's just down to Avondale's really good defensive structure. Obviously, mixing experience with youth in there, and evidently, somehow, they've kept Essendon at bay.
So just checking to see if that Avondale player is okay. We've had a couple of times this year where players have gone off very early in a game. One of Essendon's key recruits this year in Page Kingston Hogg went off in the 21st minute in the opening round and hasn't been seen since. Not sure when she'll be returning. I had another chat to her today. The girls have been great the way that they've helped me out with names and giving me information on all the players, the coaches as well. And I think things will be okay. We'll resume again as the girls are allowed to have a little bit of a break. It's pretty warm again. We are in March, which often, Matt, being Melbourne, can be the warmest month of the 4. Well, it's not a summer month, it's an autumn month, but it's often very warm, isn't it, March, to be playing a winter sport?
Absolutely. And that's the challenge that these two teams here have today, because it's hot, it's on synthetic. Evidently, it's going to be 10 times hotter than what the actual temperature is. So it's going to be fascinating to see what team can handle the heat better. So, yeah.
So it's a bit like the hardcourt tennis, isn't it? When they say hardcourt tennis, 10, 12, 15 degrees hotter. Why is it hotter on synthetic?
Well, because it's not... Well, obviously synthetic is not natural grass, and what happens is that the ground collects all of that heat, and then you have heat rising up from the ground as well. So essentially you've got heat coming from the top from the sun and down from the bottom. So players are trapped in a layer of heat, plus all the running they're doing. It's 20 degrees now. It'll feel like 40 degrees out there.
Thank you for that. That's why we've got Matt here today. Outstanding. Knows the game very well. Knows grass very well too. It's not one of my strengths. I can mow a lawn, but I couldn't mow anything else. Thank you, Matthew. You're doing a wonderful job. Here's Seawards. Here's Kazumi. Couldn't get hold of it and taken comfortably by Young. She goes wide out to the left-hand side now. They're in possession once more. Lazareska starting today. She goes wide as well to Barrerio. Down that left-hand side. Good through ball to Allen. The clever Allen. Her 4th club in this competition. But Kendra Smith comes across the path of the forwards who are lurking dangerously inside the 18-yard area. And she puts it over the sideline for the Royals. Yes, she's played at Bentley. She's played at Heidelberg. And she's also played at Alamein. Sydney Allen, the American, one of a number of Americans playing this year, is a long left-foot attempt coming from the outer side from Avondale. Had too much on it and didn't have anything to worry about, then board well over the crossbar. Lazareska was the player there that was off target. Juric receives from board for the Royals. Trying to shove it along is McGroarty. He's got a big frame, and when she gets in front, she's very hard to shift as she pushes it wide again down that right-hand side. Seawards, Peel though is caught out, comes back though to Seawards in the middle of the pitch for the Royals. Kazumi has a couple to beat. Good fancy footwork by the Japanese star for the Royals. Back now to Juric, who's been impressive so far. Inside the defensive half for Essendon. Wilkinson keeping Kazumi honest. She goes down the right-hand side. McGroarty pushed into it by Barrerio, but controls the ball now for the Royals. Wedges a nice little ball out to Langley. Langley's a clever player. She's got a couple to beat. Is pushed off it, but legally, says the ref. And that was good defence provided there by Alyssa Smith to get it to a teammate Accardo. Back to Accardo, back to Smith, and now Barrerio, even more defensively. Having to do a lot of work inside the defensive half at the moment, the girls in white shirts for the Avondale Avengers. And the Royals turn it over again. Lobbing ball by Grober at the bootlaces of McGroarty, who has started. She goes down and then kicking into bodies once more are the Royals. And then they get another deep ball headed away by the defence of Avondale. Kazumi was one that had a crack. But again, that defence getting back, helping Bennett out. Working in unison. Now Barrerio at ground level wins the ball in defence. Having a lot of possessions. Some of their passes not sticking at the moment for the Avondale team as they're having trouble getting it outside their defensive half. Now the girl in the aqua boots, Claridge has it. Approached by Langley, her opposite number 2. Short ball to Accardo. Back to Claridge. Claridge now to Young. Young nearly shoved off it. Good pressure by Bresciano as she comes back to help her defenders. Getting a touch, Janet Saris. Now they get it out to the left-hand side to the dangerous Barrerio, but she kicks into bodies. McGrory has been sensational, and it goes over the sideline.
Yeah, very attacking from both sides. Avondale can't seem to get into it, but now here they are. No, it'll just roll safely back to the keeper, who will pick it up. We can safely say that Avondale are now pushing a bit more forward, which is why they're getting balls in the forward line. However, still in their defensive half, they are always trying to look for that switch to the other side. And one thing you can't do, especially at this level, is you cannot play with it at the back, because that's where they can damage. That's where opposition can damage you, and they can really hurt you in your defensive unit.
And Fazio, our analyst today, great to have him with us in the Senol NPL coverage, is pushing forward a couple of times. Peel kicks into the body of Accardo, gets it back now for the Royals down the right-hand side. McGrory with a clever pass. Now to Grover. Grover goes long and high and not handsomely and hits the side net. Goal kick. Once more, getting a lot of looks, Essendon. I reckon they've had 3 off target and 3 on target. While Avondale, unofficially, 1 on target, 1 off target. But haven't really been forward that much at all. I'd say it's 70-30 Essendon possession-wise as well. Living inside their attacking half. Bennett in all green as the goalkeeper. Combining now with Accardo. Accardo looking for ways through. They're pressed up again, the Royals. Inside their attacking half, having to go back Claridge. She's always been under pressure. Not entirely her fault. Bennett goes out to the left-hand side now to Janet Saris. Janet Saris looking for a searching run to at least get it team to halfway. Just gets it inside the attacking half to fellow defender Barrerio. Goes back now. Under some pressure, Allen got it back now in the direction of Accardo. And it was nearly pinched by Langley, but Claridge just got her boot into it. Janet Saris, long through ball. Getting off her line and coming outside the 18-yard area is Board, but it's off the side of the boot. And it will be an Avondale ball inside their attacking half. And can the Avengers, magnificent TV show that many moons ago, I was just born and I'm old. And Matt, well, he was a long way from being born. Great show from the 1960s. Here on the left-hand side, good ball by Lazareveska, but well taken on the second grab by Board. It was a lovely cross, but she was there to comfortably get her hands on that. Got it on the bobble. Kendra Smith. Bresciano. Seawards. Chopped off, though, by Barrerio. Elects to have a back pass to the goalkeeper, Bennett. Accardo. Bennett. Janet Saris, all inside the attacking half. Approached by McGrory, looking to put enormous pressure on. She's been great so far, the American. Scored 3 goals so far this year. Unsure what to do, Accardo, because looking right at her is Bresciano ready to pounce inside the attacking half of the Royals. Pressed up magnificently, as Matt said. Through ball this time from Janet Saris, but taken by Smith. She controlled it nicely. They have it just inside the defensive half. A few players involved there, including Urich, but turned over again. Wilkinson trapped it. And then a high ballooning ball towards Allen. Allen has an opponent around her. It just gets a little header in there. In McGrory, who's been great. Cleared at the back by Parkinson. Goes back now to Board. So they're certainly pressing up a bit more now, Avondale. But they managed to clear out to Bresciano on the left-hand side. Front of our commentary position. Now she cutes a little pass in Board to Kazumi. And now to Kendra Smith. Long floating ball towards halfway. Great play. Getting it through is Parkinson, combining with Kazumi. But again chopped off by that defence. Sitting deep, as Matt has said. Accardo. Janet Saris. Accardo. And the mouth of the 18-yard area. As Jordan, our cameraman, beautifully filming today from Sportscast. They do a great job. Young has to come and help and go back. McGrory comes at Bennett. She slips it away by foot. Out in the direction of Accardo. And then Claridge from Young. And then Board is there and says to her defenders, get away, I've got it controlled. She can go to Kendra Smith. who's all on her own here, the New Zealander. Sloane Young's with her. And so there's nothing on offer because everyone has an opponent. So she says to Zara Board, I'll go back to you, Zara. Now she looks for McGroarty, a bit slow to approach it, but just gets there before Janet Saris could whip it away from her, and then goes back inside the defensive half to the outer side in front of the coach's dugouts to Urich. Kazumi, lobbing ball down that right-hand side, but getting back defensively again. Well played, Barrerio. Bennett outside the 18-yard area, sinks the left boot into it. Hacked halfway by Kazumi. Good play again. Pushed down McGroarty. Couldn't get it. Taken away again in the middle of the park. Good defence by the Avondale side once more. This is why they're stemming a lot of the forward moves. That was Accardo who read it well and intercepted at halfway. McGroarty been terrific so far. Parkinson. Turnover though. Well played by Lazareska. And they were just a little bit hesitant. Then the Royals defenders, and even Kendra Smith wasn't expecting that ball from Board, but she gets it to Seawoods. Played a lot of football at the Football Victoria Academy. And now to Urich. It's at halfway and turnover again. Alyssa Smith is there, runs into an opponent. Kazumi manages to halve the contest, but the defenders get back once more. A lot of back passes from the Avondale defenders, looking for a way through, and they're controlling it superbly. Accardo, Barrerio, Janet Saris and Claridge with the goalkeeper Bennett. And Janet Saris has the ball now, wearing the skipper's armband. Young is short if she wants to go there in front of our commentary position. Goes a bit further to Wilkinson. I must be colourblind, Matt. I thought her boots were orange. They're actually pink, as the girl with the aqua boots. She certainly has the aqua boots. Claridge does well, but it's turned over by Seawoods. Played on by Peel and also Grover. But then there was nothing on the end of that. It's pushed backwards cleverly by Barrerio. And Bennett again gets it away once more. Tried to get the header, but went past her then Urich. And she has to go defensively in the direction of Board. We'll get you in a second, Matt. It's a lot of parry and thrust at the moment. And the ball's over the sideline. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, both teams aren't giving each other any space in their defensive halves, are they? Essendon on one end are defending really, really well. They're defending those through balls with a high defensive line, and Avondale just seemingly can't get through. And every time that Essendon are going forward, Avondale somehow always have an answer to stop them from scoring a goal. It's amazing how it's still 0-0. I reckon we should have seen at least 1 or 2 goals right now, but it's a credit to both teams how they built up over the pre-season. Both teams pretty strong. Let's see what the rest of the half can give us.
It's been good football so far. Janet Saris, Young, 2 opponents around her. She might have been offside then, Young. Kendra Smith and Bresciano double teamed there. Young. And well done by Langley getting back deep as well. Here's Bresciano through ball. Not a good pass. Janet Saris chops it off for the Avengers. Back now to Accardo, one of the better players on the pitch so far. Matt will have to pick his 3-2-1 a little bit later without putting any pressure on him. Goes back now to Barrerio. Now in the direction of Accardo. Accardo switches from one side to the other. And here's Janet Saris. Janet Saris, the through ball. Young controls it nicely. Now to Claridge. Claridge a lobbing ball in the road though. Kendra Smith hacks it down. Trapped cleverly by Langley. Goes back now to Kazumi. They set up these nice passes. Seawoods has it. Pass down the right-hand side. Charging through now. Trying to get going is Grover. Those little legs pumping hard. On the right-hand side. Goes for a long ball towards the 18-yard area. And there's McGroarty. Magnificent. She was sort of on her own and she heads it through. What a great pass that was by Grover down the right-hand side. McGroarty was on her own for the first time. The defenders were a bit betwixt and between for Avondale, Matt, and she's put it into the right-hand corner. McGroarty's 4th goal of the campaign. It's Royals. They deserve that. They're 1. Avondale 0.
Yeah, such an amazing header right into the sort of top corner and facing the sun as well. That wouldn't have been very easy for her to head that ball into the goal. You could see it was just coming. Essendon just kept pushing forward, and that overload, that overload evidently created that extra player to then head of the ball in. So 1-0 here at Ironbark Fields.
As you said, Matt, big game. It's like a 6-point game, this. We say in AFL footy an 8-point game, because obviously if Essendon win today, they're on 3-3, as you said, and Avondale will be on 3-3 as Avondale go inside their attacking half. Young, beautiful ball. Here's a dangerous Wilkinson. She can score! And she just wasn't able to get it low enough. She was also not goal side, but she was shoving off opponents like fobbing flies, and she just lobbed it a little bit too high over the crossbar, but I reckon she nearly had Board, the keeper, beaten. Remains 1-0, Essendon Royals way in the twilight at Ironbark Fields, part of the Western United Stadium. They're in recess at the moment, but it's a beautiful venue. Some might say it's a long way away, but it's out in the west, which is what they are, Western United, out at Tarneet. Here is Barrerio. Gets a couple of headers at halfway for the Avengers. Needs a bit more support. They're sort of losing the ground ball battle a bit. There's the brilliant McGroarty. How good is she? And she gets support as a through ball comes out again from Kazumi, who's been magnificent. And another through ball again from Seawoods. Here's a chance now for a shot at goal. The goalkeeper is beaten, and they've got two. Bennett's beaten. And a magnificent goal, as in the end it was sort of the goalkeeper and the player, and the second goal is on the board, and well done to the Royals as they're starting to take control of this too in a couple of minutes. And an excellent goal for the Essendon Royals, and it was by Isabella Seawoods was the player that scored that goal.
Yeah, 2-0 up here at Ironbark Fields. Essendon just keep pouring forward. Avondale have got no answers for them. Their defence looks... First it looked really organised, but now they just can't seem to have that little extra inch to try and stop these goals. But credit to Essendon's attacking prowess. 2-0 here at Ironbark Fields.
Well, she worked her way through that one, Seawoods. She had a fair bit of opposition around her, but she was magnificent as she's on the ball now. To Kendra Smith. Langley back to Kendra Smith. Reliable defender, playing well again. Has nothing on offer in front of her, so goes back now to Board. Set to contend with one shot on target so far, but Bennett's the one that's been under the pump. Kazumi's been very constructive in the middle of the pitch. Seawoods, the scorer of the last goal, goes wide again to the running Grover. Two opponents around her, tries to beat them, not able to, but eventually Avondale had the last touch. Back into play. Here's Seawoods again. Goes wide once more. Close to the byline. Grover, who set up that cross for the McGroarty goal before when she was sort of all on her own. Loitering with intent. Dangerous intent, Matt. And put it through. And it's 2-0 in favour of the Royals. Some work for Avondale to do now. And they're, of course... without three of their better players, but at the end of the day, you can only play with who you've got. You can only play against who the opposition has. Essendon have come to play today. They're missing Sandu, who's a very important member of this side. A lot of pace. A red card last week. So they would say that she's as important as the players that Avondale are missing, but it's just one of her. But anyway, we continue on. Claridge. Excuses, Daniel. Forget about it. Goes back now in the direction of Janet Saris. Inside the 18-yard area to Bennett. Nearly met. Had to get a boot to ball. Turned it over. And Seaward goes for the long range. The Hail Mary off the side of the boot. Missed everything by a country mile. And it remains 2-0 Essendon Royals. But they are completely dominating this match. Senol round 6 of the NPL for season 2026 in the women's competition.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that shot. Maybe she just tried to test the keeper a little bit to see what she's truly capable of. Because we've seen many goalkeepers concede goals from when players have scored from that kind of distance. But Essendon are keeping their cool. They're not... The one thing that I'm impressed by Essendon by is that they're not taking their foot off the pedal. They're constantly going, and not giving Avondale any any room to manoeuvre, especially in the defensive half, and making it extremely hard for them to get the ball up the attacking wings. So, yeah, Avondale's got all the work to do, but evidently we'll find out, because 2-0 is still a very, very dangerous scoreline.
Let me ask you a question. Is it the plan, do you think, of Essendon to ensure all the plays in front of the coach's box on the far side from where we're commentating from?
What do I think? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just to put as many players up forward as possible, trying to overload that Avondale defence, because Avondale do play with 4, as many teams do. But getting that additional player in there, right, is always going to provide a lot of benefits, which obviously means that Avondale have to force one player to go back in defence to try and even up the numbers. But you've got less up attack here. They're only keeping Wilkinson up here. So, and the link is between, and the only link between her and the defence is the 2 players in the midfield, which, to be fair, have done well, but with Essendon's high line, they're finding it pretty tough to beat. So,
thanks, Matt. Great to have Matt Fazio with us today, well-known analyst in the NPL with the Bentley Greens men's competition. Involved with Casey as well. Yeah, Casey Women's 2 years ago. Thanks, Matt. Learning a lot from the great man today. It's great to be here. As we look beyond the ground, and there's lots of land here at Western United at Tarney. Headed it halfway by Langley. Getting a hurried boot on that. That was better play by Young. Here's a dangerous Wilkinson. She's a magician when she gets control of the ball. Just outside the 18-yard area, opponents around her. Has to get a little pass out to Accardo, who shoots long, but again, well over the crossbar. And that was, in the words of one of the greatest football commentators of all time, ambitious. 2-0, favour of the Essendon Royals. They've been the much better side so far. You'll learn, Matt, if you work with me, that I don't have any original lines. It's halfway, trying to take it on is Janet Saris. She couldn't get control of it. Well won again by McGrory, has been sensational, to Bresciano, going back now to Smith. Any, many, miny, mo, looking to try and get a little pass out to Kazumi. He's a good player, we know that. Back out wide to Bresciano in front of our commentary position. Getting a bit of a bird's eye look at this. Couldn't control it, Langley. Taken brilliantly by Young. Out to the left-hand side. And Lazareviska's there, but she's got an opponent who is goal side of her, forcing it over the sideline. In fact, over the byline. So they've got some work to do here, Avondale. They're down 2-0. I know their coach said to me that they'll be looking to maybe go and watch the Asian Cup final. If they win, I think they'll probably go even if they lose. He's looking for a pub. With the greatest respect, there's not one out here. A little bit closer into town. But obviously this area is growing and developing nicely. Here's Kendra Smith, who's got the ball in the 10-yard box. So Kendra Smith a little bit unsure what to do as they've pressed up a bit, Wilkinson in particular, combining with Board. She'll go back now to Kendra Smith, who's been a very solid defender so far today for the Royals. They'll lead 2-0. Great goals to McGrory and to Seawards, who scored his second for the season. Here's now Bresciano. Slides it in wide. That was good. And they can get themselves moving. Seawards was involved. Bresciano now, long run inside the attacking half. But the through ball was no good. Straight to the body of Accardo, who clears it, and then headed away again by Urich. It's a tall figure and is doing very well defending. A lovely nodder by her, but back at the bootlaces of Janet Saris inside the defensive half for Avondale. Another turnover. Gee, those turnovers are killing the Avengers at the moment. The coach will be having conniptions. Getting it back now, Langley towards Kendra Smith. Seawards out wide now. Bresciano setting up something nicely. She'll try and go inside. She can't. She kicks into the body of her opponent. And eventually it either is going to be a corner kick or a goal kick. I think you'll find it might be a corner kick. It is. It was good defence, though, by Avondale then to make sure they got goal side, Accardo. But it was a great run by Bresciano, the defender. And they're playing with a real attacking mindset. Matt, we'll get to you in just a second. We'll just see what this corner kick does. from the Essendon Royal side. And Kazumi, who is their corner kicker, if you like. Third chance at this. Long and deep into the goal mouth. Whacked away by Bennett. She had to get rid of it quickly. A clearing ball by Claridge. Didn't have enough on it. And then Kazumi pips in and she puts it wide to the left-hand side. They're just not clearing the ball that well at the moment, Avondale. They're lacking a bit of confidence, aren't they?
Well, I wouldn't say confidence. The first goal definitely shocked them. The second goal sort of shocked them a little bit more. They've got no answers to Essendon's forward press. Essendon are doing that very well. And yeah, maybe Avondale, what they can do is possibly, and this is probably what they'll try doing, is getting one additional player into attack. It is risky considering the 2 goals down and they'll be left exposed at the back. However, having that additional attacker up along with and getting that overload inevitably will create more chances. However, they've just got to be smart in the defensive line if they do choose to put 1 or 2 or 3 players into the attack. And it looks like Brooks gone down here. There'll be a break and play.
Hope she's okay. I've never seen the goalkeeper changed unless by a decision by the coach to change the goalkeeper. Things aren't working by injury. I haven't seen too many of them get injured. Zarkos is their reserve goalkeeper. So they can have a little bit of a break. It's a warm day again, as we said. The wind starting to make its presence felt. Not really protected from the wind out here. It will be. But they're beautiful pitches, a lovely stadium. Resplendent in green, of course, green and black, which is the colour of Western United, coached by the man that got Australia back into the World Cup in 2006. John Aloisi had a crack out here, didn't he, as coach? And they're just going through a process at the moment where I hope they will return with these wonderful facilities that they have in progress. We're here for Senol, our major sponsor. Great to have them on board. And it's Essendon Royals needing a win, 2-0. They've had a great start. Kelly McGroarty, a wonderful header from a beautiful through ball where she just charged down the right-hand side, giving them a lot of pace, vim and vitality inside their final third, Grover. Experienced player from the now defunct Calder United football team. And that was a beautiful ball, and McGroarty was on her own. Those excellent defenders caught napping, and she put it away past Bennett, who's had a lot of work to do. She's made some great saves so far, Brooke Bennett. And then a couple of minutes later, they worked their way again, just attacking hard. And a great finish inside the 18-yard area by Seawards, who has plied her trade at the old Football Victoria Academy. It doesn't exist anymore, that team, which was a magnificent concept where players started at the age of 15, went to 18, and just by the time they were getting to their last year, that side was becoming competitive. But it wasn't all about them winning championships or making finals. It was about developing players. And now, of course, Matt, they've gone for Melbourne City, Melbourne Victory. As a football lover, a football analyst, how do you feel about that?
I feel indifferent to it, really. I mean, the bringing in of these academy teams, these A-League academy teams, really shows the growth that women's football is going through. And from an analyst perspective, it's giving more pathways for players to get in. As I understand it, in order to play for those teams, I think you have to be invited for a trial. But yeah, it's certainly a wonderful thing for.
We'll come back to that as again play started quickly. They bolted down the right-hand side once more, and it's right on half-time. And there was nearly a chance for Langley to finish it off. A nice little pass by Graver down that right-hand side. Once again, they got out the back, which has happened way too often. And Langley just didn't quite have the balance to be able to put it away, and she put it wide. But, gee, Essendon sensational in that first half. Sorry to cut you off there, Matt. And it is 2-0 at half-time, a terrific game of football. And the Essendon Royals playing magnificent football. Their form's been a bit up and down. They won their first two. They've won 2 of their first 3, dropped their last 2, and looking for a win to make it 3 wins and 3 losses after 6 rounds. While for Avondale, missing, as we said, Goad, missing Miata, missing Kelman Knight, which doesn't help their cause too much, probably affecting the depth a little bit. They've been outplayed, and Essendon does deserve its lead of 2-0 because it's probably had monopolisation of territory and monopolisation, obviously, of possession, Matt.
Yeah, Essendon just did most of the attacking that half, as all of you, the viewers, and we saw, and I think that's what, coming out of the gates early, Avondale just took Avondale by surprise, and when you're on the back foot, it's certainly hard to get into it. But 2-0 is a very, very dangerous scoreline because the 2-0 scoreline is a trap to where the team that's up 2-0, eventually sometimes teams will decide to sit and just play safe. Whilst the other team is attacking, we know that is dangerous because getting complacent at 2-0, it can easily be 2-1 and 2-2. So for the start of the second half, it's going to be imperative for Essendon's sake, or for both teams to get off to a great start, but Essendon cannot let their foot off the pedal. Avondale will have to go back to the drawing board at half-time to see what they can muster up to try and break through that high defensive Essendon line. In the Essendon change room, it'll be more of the same, please, in the second half.
Absolutely, they're playing wonderfully attacking football, and they deserve their lead. 2-0 goals to Kelly McGority. Magnificent header across from Grover was superb, and she put it away in the right-hand corner, and then a lovely goal by Seawards as well with opponents around her, but she managed to get enough purchase on the shot and put it past Bennett. So they deserve that. Essendon, as I've said a few times, and Matt has as well, they've had complete domination. Ball's been living inside their attacking half, and they lead 2-0. The halftime came up quickly because there's no clock here. But it was a terrific half of football, and Essendon thoroughly deserved their lead. So half-time in round 6 of the Senol Women's NPL competition. Saturday twilight fixture. Dan Lonigan and Matt Fazio with you. Great to be here out at Ironbark Fields. It is a home game for Essendon Royals because their home ground, which of course is Cross Keys at Strathmore, is still being used for cricket. It should be right to go next week. I believe this is the last round of local cricket. The district cricket finals, the grand final will be next week. And of course, the Sheffield Shield, which doesn't affect the soccer, is on next week as well, with Victoria playing South Australia. But I digress. So we'll take a break. Jordan doing a great job at Sportscast as well in the sunshine here and the twilight. 2-0 Essendon over Avondale in round 6 of the Victorian Women's NPL Chanel competition. Back with more shortly. Welcome back to Ironbark Fields. And it's 2-0 for Essendon Royals. Dan Lonigan, Matt Fazio with you for the Senol round 6 of the NPL women's competition. Essendon 2 goals to McGroarty and to Seawards in quick succession in the first half after dominating. Probably should be further in front as Bennett receives it defensively and on the left, hooks it high, attacking it hard was Parkinson. Through ball comes from Allen, getting involved again. Urich just was there in the nick of time, getting inside the attacking half for Avondale, but not able to control the ball is Accardo, and McGroarty has it, a through ball from her. But at the back, player nearly brought down. Magnificent work by Bresciano. Put a lot of pressure on Trainer, who's come on at half-time for the Avondale team. And she was caught flat-footed and a bit lost then. Ball into the middle of the pitch, headed down by Young. Couldn't get a decent head on that, though. Nearly a turnover once more. Brought to ground was Peel as she tried to beat a couple of opponents. Got tangled with feet. Out to the left-hand side. Lazarevska's there. Could be cleared at the back. Working very, very hard was Parkinson. And she did a magnificent job then and wins control of it. You happy with that? Pretty sharp or sharp. That wasn't so good, but got it to a teammate who kicks into bodies. That being Grover, who set up that magnificent first goal for McGroarty. Parkinson again, back in the direction of Grover. Barrerio. Janet Saris wins it. 3 opponents on 1 there. They had to work very, very hard. Janet Saris gets it again. And Lazareska as well. Header for Avondale, but no one's there. It's cleaned up at the back by the Royals once more. Kazumi. Urich. Here's Parkinson. Too quick for Barrerio, who's still low goal side. Good ball, but parried away magnificently in the goal mouth by Bennett of the Avondale team. That was a beautiful cross from Parkinson, having a big influence. The bootlaces again outside the 18-yard area. Seawards got a deft little touch, but she couldn't do much with it. Down the right-hand side. Here's Young, under some pressure, trying to push her opponent Bresciano out of it. Bresciano brings it aground, and there's going to be a free. I'm not sure that there was a lot there. You're right, I reckon it might have been a bit soft. Because I saw in the first half, Matt, when there was a bit of pushing and shoving and huffing and puffing from players when they were trying to get past each other, that they let that go. It's the first one, which I reckon 50-50, that they've actually given.
Yeah, that was very difficult to call. Obviously, the ref saw something that we didn't. But let's see if Avondale can make something of this free kick to get back into the game.
So Barrerio. All Avondale players inside their attacking half. And the spot kicker will be Cam Barrerio on the left, looking to curl it in. A lot of the Royals players getting in towards that 10-yard box to help the goalkeeper. Takes the pace off it, and it's chested away. Good defence by Urich as she got back and was able to produce another corner kick for Avondale, who struggled to get the corner kicks in the first half. And the Royals had a few as they had complete domination. It all appears to be happening at the Western United FC change room's end. Probably south, the southern end. A nice little ball by Allen again. Comes off bootlaces. Trying to have a crack was Boges, who's come on at half-time as well for Avondale. Kicks into bodies, ricochets away. Third corner kick in as many minutes for the Avondale Avengers. Again, attacking at the southern end where the Royals scored both their goals in the first half. They lead 2-0. So Barrerio again, curling ball to the right goal post. Pushed away again. Waiting down. A long ball from the Avengers, but on that occasion it was a long way out with the wind a bit from Trainer, and she couldn't really control it, and it just sails away aimlessly over the crossbar. Score remains at 2-0. Wilkinson's the key striker, who scored a hat-trick last week, but as I've said, I know you can only play with who you've got, but Gode's a big out with a calf injury, even though Kelma Knight didn't play last week either with her television duties. The final of the Asian Cup tonight between Japan and Australia. Again, they have possession inside the attacking half. The Avengers. Smith gets a little ball. Kendra Smith for the Royals. Here now is McGroarty, who was put down as she was trying to get away from an opponent. She did very, very well and was shoved as she had opponents hanging off her like a cheap suit, and she did very, very well just to get her boot the ball and then got put down. And it's taken by Kendra Smith right in the middle of the park, right on halfway. She's been superb, McGroarty. Might be in contention for votes. Scored a goal, 4 for the campaign. The recruit from America. And here's Kendra Smith, who's been good. Long high ball deep inside the 18-yard area. Good header away by Janet Saris. At the bootlaces, love Parkinson. Out wide now, well played Kazumi. Back to Parkinson. Goes down the right-hand side. She's tucked away though with a player goal side in Allen was Kazumi, and she couldn't control it. And once more, it is put over for a corner kick, which I think she might turn into a little pass to Parkinson, Kazumi. She does. Has an opponent right with her in Claridge, does Parkinson. Kazumi's kick wasn't great, and her teammate tried to hack it in. That was not successful from Peel. Bennett, Janet Saris. In front of our commentary position. We're getting a bit more of the play on this side. Now to Barrerio. Goes down the left-hand side to Wilkinson. Back to Barrerio. And then good work by Grover. Ensured that Avondale had the last touch. Parkinson. Barrerio over the sideline. Back to Parkinson again. Good ball. Controlled nicely by Grover. Back to Parkinson now. Barrerio right with her. In her face. Goes for a pass. Mid-court. Oh, beautiful little back heel by McGroarty, but unfortunately her teammate wasn't ready for it in Langley, and it's taken away by Avondale, but only momentarily. Kendra Smith is there. She's approached by Sloane Young down the left-hand side. And again, the Royals doing a lot of possession inside their attacking half. Not much has changed, Matt.
No, not much has changed, but Avondale are clearly getting a lot more forward, and it's producing those chances. That free kick and that opportunity and those two corners went begging, but still 2-0.
Turnover again, Kazumi. Kazumi goes wide down that left-hand side. Had too much on it there for her teammate to try and keep it alive in Langley. He's been reasonably creative as well. And out of play over the byline, goal kick for Bennett. And spread out now the Avondale team. Made a couple of substitutions at half-time. Bennett goes wide. Claridge under pressure at halfway again. Avondale turnover once more. This is dangerous. Through ball. Can they do something with this? This is Peel. Caught on the left-hand side. Goes to the top of the 10-yard box. And she thrust her boot at it. Couldn't get enough on it. Grover. And it just sails over the byline. But again, it was a clever little ball. And once more, those defenders were just a bit reactionary for Avondale. Let's just let them down today. That's why they're down 2-0. She's right on the sideline as she receives that ball from Janet Saris. Barrerio back to Accardo. And then a defensive move once more to Bennett. Out now to the running Claridge. Goes down the left-hand side. And they get it inside the attacking half with a sliding ball, the Avengers, and will retain possession. 2-0. The Royals searching for their third win to join the Avondale Avengers on 9 points, but there's a big difference in goal difference at the moment. Here is Barrerio getting inside the attacking half to Wilkinson. That marauding big frame manages to get control of it. Back towards Barrerio. And then to Ocado, who just stopped. Didn't know what she was doing then. And it allowed Peel to win possession. Now to McGrory. Long ball from McGrory. And it hits the crossbar. She just worked her way through and then said, I'm going to pull the trigger. And I reckon she had Bennett beaten. The only problem was it was just slightly offline, hitting the crossbar from McGrory. That would have been a sensational goal and would have probably just about got her team the 3 points. Still 2-0, and they're having to work hard here, and their pass is not sticking. Janet Saris to Barrerio. Chipping in now is the very clever Grover. Another lovely cross ball cleared by Janet Saris. Going after it, Parkinson. Runs into a teammate in Seawoods, but then controls it nicely. Been very good, Parkinson again. Robust play. Just outside the 18-yard area. Went for a through ball. Getting involved was her opponent in Ocado, and then down to McGrory, who once more goes wide with a shot outside the 18-yard area. Maybe third time lucky for Kelly McGrory, but their passes are missing at the moment. Avondale, aren't they? They're under the pump.
Yeah, and it's that forward pressure that Essendon are applying, continuing from the first half. Now, ultimately, maybe this will result in a third goal, or can Avondale break out of it and score their first?
Getting on her own a lot too, McGrory, isn't she? Is Janet Saris goes wide now to Claridge. Ocado. Allen been very quiet. Oh, beats two opponents, does well, brushes them off. Through ball is okay, but getting back, well done by Parkinson. Got it, a nice little deft touch to a teammate in Grover, who was likewise to Kazumi, who was then put down callously. She's got that knee bandage, the one that she damaged. She's okay though. And Urich, who's been very solid, coming in the starting lineup today. One of the defenders will take it right on halfway with the team again in complete control, leading 2-0. Little pass now to Parkinson. Amy Parkinson will turn her opponent inside out. And Lazareska does brilliantly. Through ball again. Looking for McGrory. Just got a nice little back heel. Good ball out wide, Peel. And then trying to have a shot was Langley. Good defence though by Avondale. And they had to do a lot of that today. Comes down to the right-hand side. Can Bo just keep it alive? She can't for Avondale. Once more, they're just winning all the 50-50 balls, the Royals. They've got it on the outer side, and Kazumi's there again. Boges is right with her, trying to pick a pocket. Kazumi, though, just wizardry with her play on the ball then, as she got it down in the direction of Seawoods. And well played also by her teammate to push it forward once more in Peel. And it's going to be another corner kick. At the northern end, it hasn't seen a goal yet, but the way the Royals are going, they're pressing and pressing hard. Get to Matt Fazio, our analyst, in a second. We'll just see what this corner kick produces. And the Royals have had a few looks at these. Kozumi, another one of the star players for this Royals lineup today, one of their best performances of the season so far. Low ball, not great. Misconnected with that one. Try and clear it, Avondale again. It's bouncing around. There's going to be a free, and it'll go the way of the Avondale team. What do they need to change up here, Matt, to get themselves back into the game?
I think it's just to commit more players forward. Yes, it leaves them exposed at the back, but getting more defenders forward and just getting more balls up forward. It doesn't have to be pretty, as long as you're getting the balls up there and creating these opportunities.
Ferrerio. Ocado, but again, Essendon just keep pressing up. They just can't go forward at all. Janet Saris. Ocado. Might have turned that over. Well played, Grover, who's been good. Kazumi. Little ball. Ricochets into Janet Saris. It was Lux of Fortune over the Royals. Back to Grover. And to Urich. Getting in the road. Doing well to turn her opponent inside out. It was Lazareska for the Avondale team. And Barrerio has started an opponent. Peel who won the Emily Van Egmond Award in northern New South Wales for the best player in the competition up there. And, of course, Emily Van Egmond, during this Asian Cup, has been, or has become, I should say, the most capped Matilda in the history of the Australian women's soccer team. What a wonderful player she's been. Looking to play a crucial role tonight in Australia's quest to beat Japan, which won't be easy. They destroyed Korea 4-1 and Australia battled in that game, let 3 through. But they did, of course, get the 1 point out of that game. But you'd say Japan would be red-hot favourites. So a free kick here for Kazumi. Got the mini wall in front of her, which includes Bogus and Allen, among others, and also Lazareska. And she's looking maybe to curl it away, but she goes even higher than that. But Bennett takes it comfortably on her chest, and on the left goes long. Here's Wilkinson playing as the sole striker. Takes it on the half volley, then goes back towards Barrerio. Shoves off her opponent, who's looking for a free kick. Peel goes back now to Janitsaris. High ballooning ball, but again, just inside the attacking half. Lovely header by Urich to stave off any possible move forward by the Avondale Avengers. They eventually have it down that right-hand side. Long high ball, looking to try and control it. Sloane Young, through ball now, but players offside. That was an opportunity. Could have been player against goalkeeper, but offside. And it's 2-0. Blood rule for Trainer, who came on at half-time. Another American in this team for the Avengers. Here's Kendra Smith. I liked her game down that left-hand side. Just had too much on it there, looking for Langley to try and get onto it. Just slightly wayward, but it's still inside their attacking half, and the score remains 2-0. And the Senol NPL Women's Competition, round 6 for Football Victoria. Live on the stream with Dan Lonigan and Matt Fazio. Analyst extraordinaire with a number of teams, including a team over in Lithuania. Number 2 sport, the basketball?
Well, not entirely sure, but I guess, but their football competition's all right. But the basketball is number 1 Lithuania. But yeah.
Turnover from Bennett. Here's off balance. Oh, Bennett completely mucked it up as the kick came in from McGroarty. But luckily she had a teammate there to help mop it up in Barrerio. But once more, their passes are not sticking. They have been very, very ordinary with their use of the football today with their passes, especially in their back half, Avondale. Yeah, it's a massive basketball sport over there. I mean, they always do well at the Olympic Games. Maybe not so much in recent times. They haven't qualified for as many in recent times, but it's a period there where they always made it through to the last 4 into a medal contention. Couldn't beat the Dream Team, though. Here's Parkinson on the ball again as their defence is just magnificent, pressing up. Urich, like the game of Grover. Grover weaves her way through to the top of the 18-yard area. Here's McGroarty. She's brought down just outside the 18-yard area. The ref keeps it going. That's why I can't understand why they gave one earlier. They've all been very similar, all those push and shoves and players getting tangled up in boots. Janitsaris has to push it wide. Trainer, Accardo, Bennett going back to her. Approached now by Peel, pressing up nicely again. Puts more pressure. Trainer once more. They're just going wide. They can't go through the middle of the pitch at all because it's got red shirts everywhere. And again, they turn it over. McGroarty has been absolutely sensational. She'll shoot again. Magnificent strike, but what a lovely piece of goalkeeping on that left-hand side by Bennett. Solid as anything. That was hit with power by Kelly McGroarty. But Bennett was there once more. She stopped at least 4 or 5 today. They could have been murdered. Absolutely thrashed Avondale. Here's Young now, trying to get goal side on the left. Good ball, but coming out under some pressure was Board. Had a player right in front of her, Bogus, but she just got there in time as Bogus' boot was nearly ready to put that in. That was a good ball by Young under some pressure. She was stuck wide, but did very, very well, the American, who scored 5 times. Barrerio accidentally falls into her opponent. Free on halfway for the Royals. Her opponent there is Grover. I've liked her game today as well. So it's 2-0. And they've basically now just got to set the go button, don't they, Avondale?
Yeah, they do. And I reckon it was smart by Avondale to commit the foul here, because smart fouls often, they often slow the game down and make it harder for the opposition to attack.
So again, good defence by the Royals. And Avondale having to work hard as the Royals got it forward once more. And Bennett, who's been kept very busy today, but been a hero too, stopped a lot of shots. Long ball, Wilkinson, been quiet. Gets a nice little nodder down. Good sliding ball to Young. Young, though, was on the ball and lost control of it. And she'll get a free kick, even though I reckon she might have sort of accidentally trod on the ball then and just lost her footing. Not sure it was a free kick. But anyway, the ref's given it. So it'll go to Janet Saris right on halfway. To Young. Turns an opponent inside out. Might go out now to Barrerio. But tried to go through to Wilkinson. Just getting in the road and staving off the danger and conceding a corner kick is Urich, who's been a fine defender today. The captain of the Royals, searching for their 3rd win of the season. They had an horrendous start last year, and they won just 1 of their first 7 and dropped 5 on the trot between rounds 3 and 7, but then had a big second half of the year, only losing 1 game between rounds 12 and 20 to eventually make the finals, but got beaten in the semi. Good deep ball, trying to head it down as Wilkinson. Again, good defence by the Royals to force it away. And then it's over the byline. It's going to be a corner kick. I think the Royals thought that Avondale might have had last touch, but it's going to be another corner kick. So they're getting a few looks at corner kicks in this half at the scoring end, the southern end here at Ironbark Fields, the home of Western United in Tarneep, in the western suburbs, outer western suburbs of Melbourne. For those in different parts of Australia, welcome. Watching us on the stream. On the left, it's a low ball. Doesn't really have a lot of carry on it. It's kicked away by the Royals defence back to Barrerio, who's the one that was involved in the corner kick. Couldn't quite get her head on that. Wilkinson, again cleared by the Royals defence once more. They've been magnificent today. But in the road on halfway is Janet Saris. Janet Saris for Avondale, but only as far as the opposing captain, who hacks it away in Urich of the Royals. Back to Janet Saris, trying to control the bouncing ball. Did it cleverly to Trainer. Inside the attacking half once more. Wilkinson through ball to Allen. Was Allen offside? Just offside, not by much. She was ready to just charge onto the ball.
I was just saying, the linesman has eagle eyes to see that one that was offside, because that was very close to call.
Yeah, it was. That's very good work, isn't it? Because if they had let that go, you would have thought, yeah, it was tight, and you probably wouldn't have batted an eyelid, really. But anyway, and even if a goal came from it, because it was that tight. Anyway, it was called. Trying to hack it down Young. That's clever. Here's Wilkinson now. Wilkinson will have the goalkeeper to beat if she can. And she does. And she does. What a goal by Wilkinson. Charging through like a rampaging bull she was. And there was no way the Board could beat her. Board went to the right-hand side. Wilkinson thought, I'll go there and just shoot the lights out of that, and she does. And it's back to 2-1, thanks to the brilliance of the New Zealand international, Matt, Hannah Wilkinson.
Yes, and that's just her showing her experience. She's played at the top level, one-on-one with the keeper. You back the striker any day, but went as close as she could over the keeper. Keeper had no chance of saving it. 2-1 to Essendon.
That's what they had to do. They had to get her out the back because she's the key. Just lacking a little bit of brilliance today. Young's the other one, of course, but she's been well held. Saw them a couple of weeks ago, and even if one of them was well held, there was Miata, as I mentioned, and Goad and Kelman Knight. Don't keep meaning to go on about that, but I mean, they're so important to this team. But they're still in it here, 2-1. And it's going to be a goal kick. Nothing Board could do about that. That was a brilliant shot. She could have gone left if she wanted to, so she went right. She actually went for the harder shot because the goalkeeper had the right-hand side covered, and she still beat her. Yeah, brilliant player. She's got 5 goals in the campaign. They've got 14 in total. They've had 6 goal scorers. Parkinson, Grover, inside the defensive half of the Royals. Who had it last? I think Peel did. For Essendon. Barrerio for the Avengers. Trying to attack now. Going back was Accardo. Janet Saris. Trainer. Looking to run down the middle of the pitch. She does through ball. Here's Wilkinson again. Does she get onside? She does. She's goal side, but then turning her inside out. The experience of Urick. That was a great battle, but straight back to Accardo. Accardo now lobbing ball over the top, trying to get a little header on it. Wasn't able to. Lezaveska and cleared quickly, almost panically by Urick of Essendon. Back to Barrerio again. A lot of urgency in this game at the moment. 2-1 in favour of the Royals. Don't know how much time's left. There's no shot clock, or there's no clock at all. Janet Saris down now to Trainer, who's been good since coming on. But in the road, a nice header to stave off the danger from Smith. But a turnover again by Kazumi. Back to Barrerio inside the attacking half. The defender slips out the back once more. Here's a chance for a shot right to the top of the 18-yard area. And missing the goalkeeper was Board. She overcooked it, but then the Royals just clear it. They were panicking and they were under pressure. And once more, the defenders get back as it rolls inside the attacking half. And we take a breath for the Avondale Avengers once more. Janet Saris, fancy footwork, turns her opponent inside out in Peel. She's been good. Tackled by Kazumi, but gets her possession away now to Trainer. Down that right-hand side, spills out the back to Young, who's a dangerous player. Young now looking to cut inside. She has an opponent on goal side, sets it up towards Wilkinson. Can she control it? She can't. The defenders are there, and they work hard for the Royals to force it away under immense pressure. But again, the Avengers have the ball inside the attacking half.
Yeah, a lot of the attacks is now Avondale. As I said previous, 2-0 is a very, very dangerous scoreline. All it takes is one goal for Avondale to get back into it. They are, and it's a very, very tight contest now.
Long ball by McGrory, but no one on the end of it. The most defensive player out there was Barrerio, who's been great with the two-way running again. Bennett down the left-hand side. If they happen to get out of this, they'll have to thank her for all the saves she's had. Lovely little touch with her body by Wilkinson. Down to Lazareska, and now coming down the left-hand side, but not able to get inside enough there was Accardo, who's giving them plenty of run as well. The two-way running like Barrerio, 2 of the defenders, and Avondale have it inside their attacking half once more on the left-hand side. Essendon having to defend with their lives at the moment. 2-1 lead. They've been the better side all day, but Avondale just finding some mojo late in the match. Lovely goal by Wilkinson. Not sure which way to go here. Janet Saris gets it to her partner in crime in defence in Accardo. Then Janet Saris though kicks it into the body of Kazumi. Goes down that right-hand side, but it wasn't accurate. She was out, Peel, and she was onside too. In the rainbow paddle pop boots that she's wearing. Number of different colours. Here's Allen turning it over for Avondale inside the attacking half. The tall figure of Wilkinson. Inside ball to Allen again. Tries to cut around opponents. Couldn't. They get back again. McGrory doing well, but Wilkinson chips it off. Allen again. A chipping ball, but well stopped by Board. Didn't have enough on it, but it was a good attempt. She started to insert herself in the game too. Sydney Allen in this second half. It's 2-1. But they're having a lot of shots on goal now, Avondale. It'll be another turnover. She couldn't quite get the header to her team's advantage, Grover. Barrerio. Back now for the Avengers to Accardo. The charging train have been good since coming on, replacing Claridge at half-time. Down that right-hand side. Turnover and over the sideline, and Avondale ball once more. 2-1. But it's headed away by the Royals defence. Down that right-hand side, still inside the attacking half. Through ball again, well played by Uric to arrive and knock it down on the half volley. Loose ball, Kazumi not sure. Barrerio coming the other way, involved with Kazumi. Going to be a free. It'll go the way of the Royals, and Grover will take it, who was involved in that exchange as well. Gee, hearts in mouth stuff this. Parry and thrust. Essendon defending hard now. They did all the attacking in the first half. The Avengers turn to dominate the second half, and the scoring end is the southern end, where all 3 goals have been scored today. Seawards has been quiet, receives it from Parkinson. Grover, good through ball, great control by Peel. Peel on the left, but it was along the carpet, and it rolls comfortably to the awaiting hands of Bennett, who's in the road once more. Still 2-1, Rawls way. Tries to get it down to Lazareska, couldn't control the header. Turnover for the Royals. Grover, Seawards, Peel, out on that left-hand side now. Trying to do something with the ball, the Royals. Again, off balance with the left foot cross. And once more, covering the left-hand goalpost is Bennett, who's been superb. Kendra Smith at halfway is a long ball. It carried inside the attacking half. Kendra Smith just got a boot on it. Down the left-hand side goes Lazareska. Here's Wilkinson again. Wilkinson out to the right-hand side. Chance for Boja. She can't control it. They're saying it might be a handball. I reckon it could have been handball against the Royals. They're screaming for the Avengers, particularly Wilkinson. The ref let it go. Parkinson under pressure. Little ball now to Grover. Try to get it around Barrerio. And now Janet Saris is able to slow it down a bit and find Bennett. And I'll take a breath. His trainer now. Running out of defence to the right-hand side. 2-1. Taking the game on at the moment, the Avondale Avengers. In the Senol NPL Round 6 action. Here at Ironbark Fields in Tarneet. Home game for the Essendon Royals. Winning at Lazareska, but nothing on offer. She had it back to the attacking half, so she went back to Janet Saris. For the Avengers, who's had a huge match. Trainer giving them run down the right-hand side, but Kendra Smith with a lovely header forces it inside the attacking half for the Royals. Back to Trainer again, heading down that right-hand side. Young looking to try and cut inside, lobs the ball. Wilkinson heads it away, sort of in the wrong direction. Cleared out of defence once more by Kendra Smith. Been very, very good. Attacking it hard, Peel. And then it's booted down the outer side, covered by Janet Saris and Bennett. And Accardo. And Janet Saris once more, wanting Wilkinson to get there. She does, she traps it, but couldn't control it. Then had opponents around her that turn it over. Grover, Kazumi, Wilkinson keeping her honest. Goes wide now. You heard Barrerio say no foul, Hannah, no foul, and there wasn't. Well done by Grover up to the 18-yard area. And then there's a player brought down. She runs into Janet Saris. Was it accidental contact or deliberate contact? What do you think, Matt?
I think it's just a case of the defender just running in, eyes for the ball, and the midfielder just cops one high. I think the refs called it a penalty. So
a penalty?
I believe so. Yeah, he pointed to the spot. But it's unclear from here whether it happened outside or inside the box. But it's a defender's instinct to try and go for the ball, but sometimes even if you take a player out, even if you do win the ball, it's still a foul. But no card given. So, but it's a very, very dangerous position for Avondale to concede another one if they do.
Should there be a card given if it's a penalty and a player's put down like that, even though it appeared to be accidental and they were actually involved in the play, and it wasn't malicious. Not intending to be malicious, he was just going for the ball. It was just one of those things. But if a player goes down and the ref decides to give the penalty, it was right on the edge of the obviously the 18-yard penalty area, so he's given the penalty. Should there be an automatic yellow card or even red card in a situation like that?
Usually, yeah. Referees have to give some sort of card. I don't think it's a red card offence if there is a card, because obviously the defender's eyes were full of ball, right? But it really depends on how the referees see it. Some referees may give a card, other referees are not, which is why sometimes it's handy to know both oppositions to sort of know who's refereeing the game, because that way you know whether you want to commit a lot of smart fouls if a referee's not as card happy, or if you know a referee is very card happy and gives out cards for anything, you may want to tell your players to be a little bit more cautious, which can inevitably make or break a game with sending offs, yellow cards and cautions. So, but yeah, there was no malicious intent there. She immediately went to check on the play to see if she was all right, but it was contact to the head, so obviously referees have to stop the game to make sure that she's okay. And it looks like Essendon might be... It looks like that a sub might be coming on, but I'm not entirely sure. I think she'll carry on though. But because it's a penalty, it's now up to Bennett to keep her team in the fight.
Well, Kazumi was the one that went down, so she's been told to come off because obviously there's a blood rule there. She seems to have recovered. It's good that she's recovered because we know she's had a lot of issues with her knee. So, McGroarty with the penalty. Bennett's made some great saves today. She needs to be at her absolute best, otherwise the team's staring down a 3-1 deficit. Kelly McGroarty came here as the striker. She's here to do her job, to make it 3-1. She shoots and she scores into the right-hand corner. Puts it away. And the penalty for Essendon is converted. They lead 3-1 against the trend of play, Matt.
Yeah, in penalty, there's only two options you go for, power or placement. She went for placement there. Keeper dived the right way, but just snuck right under her into the net. 3-1 now to Essendon. Could a late comeback be on, Dan?
Well, they'll need to go. Absolutely need to go. Unfortunately, we don't have the time clock here, so we don't know how much time is left. I haven't been able to give you any time at all. If we were on pitch 1, we would have had that. But it was originally going to be on pitch 1 this game, but they've put it on pitch 3. It's been obviously on the synthetic surface as they go back now to Bennett, who's outside the 18-yard area. She's done a lot right, but she's given away 3 goals, which looks a bit harsh, doesn't it? It's like I'll use another AFL analogy. A guy has 4 kicks, kicks 4 goals, and you think the fullback hasn't done a bad job. Here's Lazareska, tries to get it to Wilkinson. Wilkinson, though, had the field against her, but here's Barrerio coming in. Goes for a squaring ball, just put the left boot into it. But again, the Royals have the numbers at the back, looking to try and clear, and they do. Well played by Seawards, getting back in defence to help out, but she's a bit wayward with her pass. Puts it over the sideline. A lot of urgency for the Avengers. Down 3-1 now. Looking to try and find 2 goals in quick succession to try and at least get 1 point from what's been an entertaining game. And a player was held, and it will be a Royals ball inside the defensive half. Love the game of Kazumi. McGroarty has been superb. Kendra Smith, very good in defence. But then again, Matt's going to give the votes a little bit later on. So Barrerio's been superb again for the Avengers. Her two-way running, elite. Talking of, she tries to get the ball here. It was a bit of a wobbly ball. Falls now to Grover. Grover now goes inside. Nice ball towards Parkinson. Had Barrerio coming the other way. There was nearly another collision, but they stopped just in front of each other. Ball's in the middle of the park. Good play, Young, to just get a little boot on it while she had a number of boots around her from the opposition. Slips down in the direction of Seawards. Seawards now to Grover, who's been industrious. Through ball once more, not great. Chopped off on the edge of the 18-yard area by Accardo, has been solid for the Avengers as well. Trying to get boot to ball. Didn't quite come off there for the Avengers. Trying to get a through ball. Cleared at the back once more. Here's Lazareska. Lazaveska goes down the line. Galuccio's just come on and she had a touch in her first game this season. Played a big part in the team going undefeated in the VPL last year. Here's Allen now. Galuccio also got a little backheel ball involved in that exchange. But once more, the Royals at the back. The defence has been watertight today. Good work by Parkinson. Chopped off though by Galuccio. And then getting involved in sinking her right, slip her into it, but putting it over the sideline. She's in the defensive half, was Trainer. So 3-1 for the Essendon Royals. And if they are to win, I think the better team would have won. As we're in the closing stages to think of this game. Sun's starting to set in the west. Here's an opportunity now. If they can set something up once more, the Royals. Working her way through brilliantly was Peel. Now to Grover. Grover shoots, but just had too much on it. And once more, it was on target, but then off target in the end as it just flew over the crossbar, and it remains 3-1. Again, they do well to turn it over once more. They've been very good the way they've pressed up all day, Essendon. And coming down the left-hand side, I think there might have been an offside. For the Royals. They must go now. Galuccio. Accardo. Trying to get onside, but she's not goal side. Is Lazaveska. Lazaveska, good clean ball towards Wilkinson. Wilkinson gets it deep inside the 18-yard area. Cleared at the back though. And then a shot by Allen. Good attempt. And Board saw that it was going on target, but then eventually it just sailed away. She was looking to dive and try and stop it. And it remains 3-1. It's been an entertaining match though. The Senol round 6 NPL action. Board with the ball in all purple as the goalkeeper today. Looking for their third win of the season, the Royals, who finished 4th last season. Headed on again. Going down the left-hand side. Ball is good. Towards Peel. Peel now looking to set up a teammate who overruns it, unfortunately. Coming down the right-hand side. Through ball once more. Doesn't quite work. Here's Kazumi, goes long again. And misses. A little bit high once more. Geez, they've had a few shots outside the 18-yard area. Parkinson doing some good work down that right-hand side as well. Here's Barrerio. Arriving is Grover. I've liked their battle today. I think they were holding onto each other's shirt. Grover wanting a free kick, but I think both were hanging on. Goes inside now in the direction of Peel. But well done, Bennett, who comes across her path. Where Angels fear to tread. There were studs everywhere flying. And she could have, had some damage done to her face, but she just had her eyes on the ball and wins it comfortably. Here's Parkinson at halfway. Just getting a boot on it. Rolls around again. Backheel ball by Kazumi. Galuccio is there to Barrerio for the Avengers. Getting involved with the half volley. Kazumi. Ball rolls around mid-pitch. Allen. Nice little ball. Looking for Galuccio. Shoved off it. Through ball again. By Grover. Trying to get there. Not able to control it, unfortunately, for the Essendon team was Piers Barlow. He's had a couple of shots coming down that left-hand side. Through ball once more. And here is Bennett. On the left. Into the middle of the park again. Wilkinson arrives. And there's going to be a free. Was there some handball there? There might have been. Scored a magnificent goal to ignite her team's chances, Hannah Wilkinson, but just hasn't had enough support today, just missing a bit of quality. And depth is always tested in any team, no matter how much talent you have. We know Avondale have a lot of talent. Through ball once more. McGroarty having to work hard to try and win control of that. For Essendon was Wilbert, who's come on as a sub in this second half, and then she had it taken off her as well. So here's Wilkinson. Back now to Trainer. I've liked her effort since being inserted into the play in the second half. Down now to Accardo, just keeps working away. Goes wide now to Barrerio, a partner in crime and defence. Back to Accardo, two excellent two-way runners. Under some pressure. Peel's right there, keeping them honest. Galicio on the ball. Back now to Trainer. And then defensively to Bennett once more. Because of this pushing up tactic of the Royals, they've been so disciplined with it all day. That's why they're probably going to get the 3 points. At the bootlaces again of Accardo, who charges her way through. Has got Wilkinson on the outside. She's got an opponent there, Urich. Can she cut inside? She shoots, but straight into the midriff of Board. Magnificent save. Clever by Wilkinson because Urich had her camp wide and she managed to come inside and she shot, but only into the midriff of Board, who's been magnificent. 3-1. Headed away again. Rolls to the back and Bennett will clean it up. Closing stages, you'd think. Trainer, hacked away on the half volley by Urich. Wonderful defender today for the Royals. Captained them magnificently. Kazumi. McGroarty, one of the best on the pitch with 2 goals. Kazumi again, out wide. Piers Barlow, down the left-hand side, but caught out of position is Peel, and good defence again by the Avondale Avengers to ensure that they get the goal kick. Well played, Trainer. Got goal side, and then Bennett finds Accardo and Barrerio on the left. Lobbing ball to the 18-yard area. Great header away by Kendra Smith. Down to the brilliant touch of McGroarty. And then young Wilbert. Through ball once more, but no one on the end of that. Getting back to retrieve it is Accardo. To Bennett. Back to Accardo. Trainer also got a touch there as well. Accardo wide. On the right-hand side. Looking for a way through the Avengers. But again, good defence by the Royals. Comes down towards Boges. She couldn't get a possession in the orange boots. Galicio, who's been pretty good since coming on. Some nice little passes. Barrerio to Allen. Allen had a shot before and couldn't quite finish, but loses control of it to the opposite number 10, Kazumi. Been superb. Goes back now. Parkinson, the general in defence. Had to control to her own advantage. Lazareska put pressure on her. Urich is there. Still inside the defensive half of the team in red, the Royals. They control it though. Good passing. Kazumi. Missed though by Peel. Getting back Accardo. Trainer. Wilbert. Just couldn't quite get a possession there. Too many opponents around her, the Essendon Royal youngster. And one again by Accardo. Accardo will go long. Wilkinson. Can she get goal side? She's got an opponent putting pressure on her, and Urich just thrust her boot at it, but cleared by Kendra Smith, who's in that central defender's position. Score remains at 3-1. Barrerio. And then Grover. And eventually it's over the line. Great effort this from Essendon.
Yeah, they just continue to push and push and push, and they don't look like stopping, to be fair. Avondale, again, have just got no answers. That penalty may have sealed the game for Essendon. However, even though we don't know how much time is left on the clock, there is no clock in the vicinity that we're at. But still, there's still plenty of time for Avondale to come back, you reckon?
The linesman just told me in a very nice way, very understated way, about a couple of minutes. So I thank him very much for that. Yeah. He can hear us, mate, because we're right on the fence here. Even the girls can hear us. And there's a player down as they came back into play for the Avengers. There might be a few minutes of injury time added on. Galicio, who's back for her first game. She started as a sub and she limps away. She's okay. She was, as I mentioned earlier, when Avondale ran the table last year, won every single game, had 14 clean sheets and scored 137 goals and only conceded 12 in a huge season. One match they won 17-0. And Galicio was a big part of that last year. A header inside the 18-yard area. Here's the brilliance of Wilkinson. Allen shoots, but didn't have enough on it, enough penetration, and it just bounces comfortably to Board, who's been very good as a defender today, and a goalkeeper. She's had to do a fair bit of work in this half. Wilkinson's individual brilliance beat her. I reckon Bennett's done a pretty good job, even though she's conceded 3. I reckon they could have been beaten 6-1 with the amount of opportunities that Essendon have had and number of shots that have been on target, and Brooke Bennett has been a star. If I was giving the votes, I might give her a vote, but that's not my job today. I've got the great man, the analyst, Matt Fazio, with me. Wonderful working with him. Hopefully get that opportunity again in the Senol NPL Women's Competition for season 2026. Great pleasure to be here at this new venue. Ironbark Fields, Ironbark Stadium for the Western United. Not playing football at the moment, but we hope they come back. We need a really big presence out here in the western part of Melbourne, the outer western suburbs. Working her way through, well played by young Will, but now to McGroarty. She shoots, but she kicks into bodies. Ricochets away, just getting a little back heel out as Accardo. Keeping it alive, McGroarty again, down to the very clever Grover. She's played a pretty good match. She helped set up that first goal. Goes inside now to the girl in the bandaged knee, Kazumi. Back now towards her teammate who gets upended in Grover inside the 18-yard area. Here's a chance now for a shot, a goal, and just goes a bit high. It was certainly there. I reckon there may have been a push and shove, but just too much on it. The shot from Pocock, who's just come on as a late sub. And gee, they've been a little bit off target in the second half. They're on target in the first half, but gee, they've gone over the crossbar about 4 times in their second half, the Royals. That's it, all over. Great win to the Essendon Royals. After losing 2 in a row, they're back in parity. 3 wins, 3 losses. They've beaten Avondale Avengers 2-1. They scored in the first half. In fact, 3-1. And they got that penalty in the second half. Goals to McGroarty and also Seawoods within a couple of minutes of each other in the first half. Brilliant cross by Grover, set up McGroarty's header. And then Seawoods was able to beat a lot of oncoming traffic and squeeze one through a couple of minutes later down at the southern end. In the second half, well, they just got going, the Avengers, and a magnificent individual effort by Wilkinson, the New Zealand international who played in 3 World Cups and scored in 2 of them, 2011 and 2023 respectively. And she put one in against the goalkeeper Board, who was sensational all day. It was a magnificent goal, so much power on the shot from Wilkinson. And then there was a collision between both players going for the ball of both sides, with Kazumi going down, and it was just inside the 18-yard area, so a penalty was called for, and McGroarty, who's there to score goals, has got a brace today. She put it away. As Matt said, she took the pace off the shot. It was all about placement. She put it through the legs of Bennett, who did a lot right as goalkeeper of the Avengers. So the Avengers have won the last 2. They dropped this one. They're 3 wins, 3 losses on 9 points. So are the Royals, 3 wins and 3 losses. But the Royals going into today were -2 in goal difference. They're now equilibrium. Same number of goals for and against. As far as their opponents are concerned, they were +8. They're now +6. But Matt Fazio, great game of football, good facilities, and well done to the Essendon Royals. Missing, of course, Sandu, who was off with a red card. We know the issues that the Avondale Avengers had. No Kelman Knight, no Miata, and also without Goad, who's got a calf injury. But the Royals just too good, pushing up all day and deserve the win.
Yeah, it was Royals all day. As you said, Avondale missing those key players, and sometimes key players can make all the difference in a match. Sometimes having that 1 or 2 key players, they just click together. Now, if you're missing those players and trying to integrate players into those positions for the players that are missing, I know a bit of an essay there, a bit of a wayward essay, but if you try implementing more players into the thing in replacement of the players you've lost, it can be very, very difficult for any team, not just Avondale, but any team, both locally amateurly, semi-professionally, all the way to the professional and national standard, right? If you don't have one or two key players in there that your players used to using, it can make life all that more difficult. But fair play to Avondale, even though they went down, they were not out. They scored that goal to come back, to try and get back into it 2-1. A lot of teams would have just folded and just copped 3, 4, 5, 6. But, yeah, credit to them. And Essendon, to their credit, they didn't settle. They kept on going. Evidently, you could see they got tired towards the end. They weren't pressing up as high as much. They were more sitting back, trying to defend that lead. But still, it could have been anyone's game. But Essendon came out with the 3 points. So congratulations to them. Thanks, Dan, for having me today. It's been a really amazing experience. So, yeah, on to next week for both teams. We'll see whether Avondale can bounce back with a win, and we'll see if Essendon can continue their winning ways.
Thank you, Matt. So let's have a look at your votes. You've gone 3 for Kelly McGrory, who did score twice and was just brilliant with her touches and just keeping the ball inside the attacking half. I think she certainly deserves the 3 votes. Brooke Bennett for her goalkeeping, even though she led in 3, she made a lot of magnificent saves, didn't she?
Yep. Yeah, magnificent saves, especially that one-on-one in the first half. I believe it was a one-on-one in the first half. She just wasn't phased, and a lot of saves that could have she saved a lot of goals that could have easily gone in and would have been much of a worse score line for Avondale. But instead of 3-1, it could have been 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. So she did really well there. And my one vote goes to Alessia Bresciano. Just the way she commanded the line, the way that she defended the wing, and a lot of the times actually stopped a lot of Avondale's attacks down the wings, forcing them into the middle. And we know that playing through the middle, Essendon were just too strong. So, yep.
So, terrific result, 3-1 for Essendon, their 3rd win of the season, and they'll be happy with that in their home away from home. Of course, they'll be back at Cross Keys soon. Obviously, it's been used for cricket at the moment, but it's been great being out here. First time for me out at the home of Western United Football Club at Ironbark Fields. Thanks to Jordan for all his hard work. Thanks to Sportscast. Thanks to Chris Gleeson for putting it all together again. Matt, great working with you.